hello. Welcome to TBH Beyond Borders. It's a podcast where I talk to inspiring international students. And today I'm with Nicole. She's an international student and an ambassador for China. And we've known each other for almost a year. So thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Well, thanks for having me here.
So I just want to start by saying that, so you're from China and I'm from India.
Yeah.
So like together we make like 36% of the world's population.
Yeah.
So like we kind of represent, just on this podcast at this point of time, we represent more than one third of the world's population.
Yes, we did.
It's really cool.
It's cool, yeah.
Yeah. I want to start there. I want to talk about, because we're both countries that, on an ancient basis, we had like a huge civilization. We've had like always like a high population. Our economies have always like been growing pretty fast. When it comes to like population, there's a direct relation between population of a country and the student life. For us, student life is a bit different because we have to like, our schooling system's a bit strict. It's more disciplined. It requires us to work a little hard.
Yeah.
Just because of the population, there's higher competition.
Yeah, that's true.
So how is schooling in China?
Well, basically we have like a very complete system which kind of guides you from your primary school even until you're in uni and even your postgraduate studies.
Yeah.
So basically, everyone like follow the same procedure. They start from primary school and follow the system, take the test and go to the next level and take another test, go to another level.
It's very standard for everyone.
Yeah, it's very standard.
Yeah.
But like nowadays, people having like more options. You can say like, you can study like a few years in China and you feel like you want to go overseas, you're free to go.
Yeah.
So like now people have more choices, and some of my friends, they like take 1 year in high school and then decided to go abroad, go to America, go to Australia. So they kind of just like, spend another 2 years
Explore
of their high
something.
school. Like in other countries.
Other countries,
Yeah, so because they feel like, probably they just don't really get used to that really strict and study under very high pressure when it comes to the test, because like that's kind of the test of your lifetime. You only take it once.
There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure, and people deal with it differently. So some people choose to take on it. That's fine, but
some people
you choose a different way. Yeah, that's also okay. It's just like people's choice.
So was it a bit weird for you when you came here? Because it was for me when I came to know that I can choose and pick my own courses for the same degree. Like, like back home also, the degree would like, you can choose your major, but that's it. You don't have a choice in courses as such. Yeah. Everyone who's doing that same degree will study the same material.
Yeah.
But when I came here, it was like you can choose whatever course you want. You can just like, it's like a Subway sandwich. You can customize your own sandwich.
Yeah.
So was it something that was new and surprising to you when you came here, or was it something that you were aware of?
It's really surprising because I know, like, because I've never been to uni in China, but I know we having like faculties and different majors, and then like you said, like one like student who studies one major, they basically go on with same courses. But when I was here, I met a lot of friends who also have the same major, and we are having like absolutely different courses. Different. We have like, they have a lot of options for you. Because like for one semester there are different schools running on. Well, if you can like, if you are eligible to enroll, you can just choose whatever you want. Yeah. So it's not like they define you. Okay, this is what you're gonna do in this semester, and this is what you're gonna do next semester. They have a plan for you. Yeah. So you can choose to follow most of it, and you can kind of customize it. As you like.
And it is also like you can customize it not only to a level of, I'm going to take these courses in this sem, but you can also customize like, I'll do 6 units this sem or 8 units next sem, or like maybe it's a little less. The customization is a little limited when you're an international student because we have like a fixed period of time to finish the course. Yeah,
that's true.
But if you're a domestic student, there's more. Like you can do the same degree in 3 years or 1 year, or depending. You
can do 5 units a semester. If you think you can handle it, that's definitely can. Yeah.
Which is really nice because, like how you said back home, everyone does the same thing.
Yeah.
But that system, while it's, it has its pros, it does not take individual people in account. Like maybe some people have a different interest, or maybe like a particular course or a particular set of courses, or maybe, they're at a point of time where they can handle 5 units or five courses at the same time.
Yeah.
Or maybe if they can't, then, at least here you get an option to set the speed. You know what I'm saying? Like you can either have it high intensity or low intensity. You can also it's individualistic in that sense, which I really liked.
Yeah, you choose your own pace. You don't have to follow
exactly.
Like, well, although international student, we have some certain
we have
but it's still like they have give you some freedom at some degree.
Right,
so you can choose whatever you want.
Yeah, and also coming here, I'm sure again for both of us, since we've come from a different culture background, etc. When we came here, obviously there were hindrances and obstacles and culture shocks.
Yeah.
So how was your experience when you came here?
Well, my culture shock here is, people here is really I would say outgoing, because they will tell you everything, what's in their mind.
Yeah.
They kind of saying if they have some achievement, they will just tell you I achieved something and that's great and it was a congrats. But back home, I think for most of Asian nations, that we kind of trying to keep us humble, so we don't really I'm not saying it's kind of showing off, but we feel a little bit awkward to tell other people what I have achieved, because I feel I'm showing off to them.
Right.
But here people feel so naturally. I've told you what I've done, because one of my people say to me one of my projects is launched today, and they will feel so comfortable, so confident. And I was when I first hear, I was like, oh God, that's very awkward. Because we don't normally say that, and here people feel so confident and comfortable about speaking of their achievement. So I think it's like a fresh new opinion to me.
It's like a new perspective in the sense that it's different, but not necessarily bad.
Yeah, it's actually good. It's kind of you're admitting your own achievement, which is good, because people feel good when other people kind of give them compliments, saying you're doing a good job and this is really great. But I think sometimes most importantly, it's for yourself to kind of encourage yourself, say, you actually did a good job. Why are you hiding it back? You can just tell people about it, you've done something and it may be helpful for them. Yeah,
because it's mostly like a motivational cycle. When you have small achievements, it keeps you going. If you achieve small things, it really motivates you to pursue bigger things.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's really it is a good system where you tell other people, and you also admit to yourself, and you kind of take joy in it.
Yeah. It's actually good, because when you're listening to other people's achievements, it kind of inspires you. Look what other people have done. I probably can take on a similar path if it's necessary, or we can just share experience, see what they have learned, what mistake they have made, and what their opinion about their project. So it's really interesting, because it's when you hearing other people's achievement, and from that point there will be a lot of conversation going on if you kind of keep exploring what they have been doing. So the conversation can go a lot longer.
And it will also be a learning process for people who are listening, right? Because even they'll get to know everything that was involved, and things that can go wrong, or
because that's kind of the stuff I kind of feel about networking, because when I get here, I was told networking is really important.
Right.
But I feel really nervous about it, because basically you just go at some events and you meet industry professionals, and I don't know at the beginning, I don't know what I should talk about. What should I say about them? Because I feel there is some distance, because it's not like you're talking with your friends. You can talk about whatever, but you at that kind of circumstances, you have to come up with some certain topic to talk about.
Yeah.
But then I always learned that you basically just ask them what project you have been recently working on, and what's some of the successful product you have been made. So basically you're just asking for their stories, and they kind of just giving you their stories, and while you're listening to their stories, you can kind of put up questions, and why are you doing this? What inspires to do that? And have you ever made some really hard problems in the process? So it's just kind of push your conversation really, really naturally. So it's it makes me feel a lot better, a lot at ease, because Yeah,
Are you getting better networking now? Like, do you feel like...
I feel like it's better. Because
yeah.
I was just like nervous beforehand,
Yeah.
but when I was actually there, so I just focused on trying to talk to people. So I kind of forget the nervousness, so it's just gone.
And essentially, at first, it's really like networking as a concept. Also, when you like, it's such a quintessential first year university thing to do. You know, like it's something that we don't do, and then suddenly everything is networking. Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
So at first, yeah, it is really nerve-wracking, and I think it's for everyone, at least most people.
Yeah, because I don't think it's like a very usual stuff to do
in
Asian countries.
No.
Because when we come to getting job, we basically you either you applied it like online through the company's website, or you're just getting introduced by some people inside the company.
Right.
So you kind of just being pushed right to the position. But in here, you kind of have to build a connection from zero. So you kind of have to just talk to many different people, see what story they have, what project they have, and then you can just keep going on to research what opportunity they could have given you. So it's very different and it's very new, but I think it's a good thing to learn.
Yeah, I think definitely networking is like a good skill set to have to be able to network. Yeah. Also, speaking about you not feeling comfortable to talk about your achievements, So. You've obviously, we know each other because of the Brisbane International Student Ambassador Program, but you're also I would say you're a prominent voice in QUT. I see your photos posted by QUT all the time. You're currently on their website.
Yeah, on the website.
Yeah, and you also write blogs.
Yeah, I do have
so I want to talk about your blog first.
Yeah, sure.
So what do you like writing about, and what motivates you to write?
Well, because I actually read one of the QUT bloggers even before I started QUT.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's what inspires me, because I don't know anything about QUT before
reading the blog.
Yeah, before reading the blog, because when I was accepting my offer, I basically just browsing through the school's website.
Yeah.
It's basically just telling you course services,
the academic
fees. So it's very official stuff. But then I was saying, if I can know from a more relaxing perspective, from a, say for example, from a student's perspective, that would be a lot easier, and it would be it's just like a new opinion to you.
Yeah.
You're not just hearing other people saying. That's someone's real experience.
Yeah.
It's real. They have
first-hand experience. Yeah.
So I kind of read that, and that was I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So that's a very old blog. But I feel it really makes you feel like the school is welcoming other students, because they are really passionate about putting students up to sharing their experience.
Right.
So it's not only like a marketing technique.
Yeah.
It's just aiming to helping other students. Because students always feel comfortable of hearing stories, experience from another students rather than stuff.
It's also a full circle in the sense that you, before, when you thought about QUT, you read this blog before coming here, but written by a student, and you were really, you were that is what got your interest in QUT, and now that you're here, and now that you've experienced the life here, now you're writing, and hopefully maybe that inspires, or that gives an account of your life and of your journey here at QUT to other people who might be thinking about QUT.
Yeah. Because what I'm always thinking is about getting help, and I have to kind of reply to this help. You can't just keep receiving other people's help, but you have to give back at some point. So what I've been doing, volunteering around campus, being the ambassador, writing the blog, it's because I really used a lot of helpful resources in school and in Brisbane, and I have received a lot of help. Sometimes you can't even remember how much help you have asked other people for. So basically, you're just trying to say, if there is an opportunity which I can kind of pay back to this help I received, I'll definitely take that. Because you never know, your story may be helping other people.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sometimes you didn't even feel it, but maybe it's just useful for some people.
Yeah.
It's because once you put up the help there, probably not. It doesn't necessary to have people to use this kind of help immediately, but you never know.
It's there. You never know. Maybe someone will stumble over it. Maybe that is exactly what maybe someone was looking for, But it's a really nice thought that you because when we, especially international students, when we come here, or when we are new to any city or any country, there's so much we need to know. There's so much we don't know, and like there's so much information that we are seeking.
Yeah, that's true.
And for most of us, there are a lot of people who help.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is how we get to a position where now we can be those people that can help newer students or other people. So I really like the circularity of this entire process. So it's a nice thought, yeah.
It's really nice. Like, you can, it's really a kind of like a self-achievement that you can not only be yourself, you'll be able to help others.
Yeah,
it's kind of like your power is like kind of growing up and kind of like affecting other people. You're helping them. So it's kind of a self-achievement for me.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy to do that.
Yeah. And speaking of helping other people, you're also a tutor. I should start with, so you're basically doing a Bachelor's of Electrical Engineering at QUT.
Yeah.
Again, very cool. And you're also tutoring.
Yeah.
Which is, I think it's a really amazing thing you're not only studying a degree, and doing the courses in that degree, but you're also simultaneously teaching other people. I think that's like one of the best ways to learn. Like, don't you feel that when you're tutoring, that's when you learn the most?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Because that's what I was told when I was in high school. Because it's like, although we're having a very strict schooling system, but we're still encouraged to kind of, exchange opinions from peer to peers. So if you have like some problem in your exercise but you don't know how to solve it, you probably just try to talk to your classmate and like just exchange opinions, or even helping your classmates who don't know how to solve the problem.
Right.
And then you kind of learn a lot from this kind of teaching, teaching stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's really helpful, because what the tutoring I've been doing is just kind of guiding students through their practice experiences just in the lab. So that's the course that I have taken. So I totally understand their nervousness during the test or building the circuit on the lab. And I just tell them it will be fine if you just follow the instruction, because like everyone have to go through this path.
Yeah.
And you've seen there are so many people who have passed it, so you should definitely be okay with it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a self-reflection and also helping other people grow up. Go to a degree.
I would think that one of the pros of student tutoring is that, say for example, if tomorrow if I tutor for a subject that I have done, not only will I be able to explain to them the information that I need to explain, but I'll also be able to gauge what or how much they might be understanding, because that's where I was like a year ago or something,
Yes.
So I have like a better perspective than lecturers of how much the students might already know.
Yeah. Because like as students, we all having like similar experiences.
Right.
Like even for myself, like for my study, some of my tutors, they are just master students or PhD students.
Yeah.
So we kind of really welcome this kind of tutors, because you kind of like think like they were just students as like you. Rather than besides the teaching time, they were just doing study, same as you. So they'll have their study experiences. So it's kind of more like you feel like more relaxed in front of them.
Exactly.
Generally, because like you feel like they are.
You feel like they're peers.
Yeah, they're peers.
Yeah.
Like
a mixture of those two. Is that one where you have a lecturer who has great experience and a lot of knowledge, and another like a more like close, or like a more like a colleague or like a peer, where there's a tutor who's kind of been where you've been, but has like learned or has all the information that you need to know.
Yeah.
I think that those two really go well together, because you have like a lecturer who's like talking to like 100 people or 50 people at the same time, and that's good. But then you also have more like individual or more specialized help via the tutors.
So that's really nice, because you learn from different perspectives, and you're meeting different people. Because like sometimes when you're like finishing your course, like you can still be as friends of your students.
Yeah.
Because they're also students, so you feel like less stress in communicating with them at the beginning. Because like gradually you get used to communicating with everyone here, but at the beginning, I think
it
it's
is hard.
Students to student, the communication is a lot easier. Especially for international students.
Yeah. I've actually applied for tutoring.
That's cool.
Yeah, because I that's what I told myself, that I'll finish for a year. I have 2 years, right? Master's degree.
Yeah.
So I was like, 1 year I'll study, and I'll do my, I have my courses and all of that. But the second year, like I said, because it's like a research project.
Yeah.
I can actually teach people the courses that either I've completed or like bachelor's courses.
Yeah. That's
because not just because I like teaching and it'll be fun, but mostly because there's so much that I will learn. Because as you like go ahead in whatever field you're in, and as specialized your knowledge gets, it's really easy to lose touch with like the basics or like the primary information. Yeah. So I think that's why I want to go back to tutoring.
Yeah, that's really cool because like when you're tutoring other students, you kind of sometimes I'll feel like, well, it's kind of like I'm going far away from the basics. Sometimes. But it's really important like you have like a very solid foundations for everything.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's what pushed me back to kind of review that knowledge, not only just to tutoring the students better, but also kind of make myself study a lot easier because you kind of keep using that thing, so you want having a period of time where you suddenly forgot some basic stuff. So that's gonna cause a lot of problem.
But that does happen, and I've also noticed that a lot of like researchers who like are involved in like a research project that I'm involved in or other research projects, they're also teachers, like part-time teachers. And that's really important. Because when you're a researcher or when you're even in engineering, when you're like really focused on a very specific particular like a very like niche topic, it's easy to like like completely forget about like the foundations. Like I'm not saying you'll forget all of it, but it's just really helpful to go back and teach as a researcher or as like a professional, so that your foundation is always like continuously strong. At least that's what I think is really helpful.
Yeah, I totally agree. Because like when you are going, because during your study you have like especially bachelor study, you'll be covering like various topics, but probably not very in depth for each one of them. But like the problem about like going on a lot of topics is like you have a lot of information to take on all the time. So it's normal to forget. Because everyone forgets. So you just have to find out a way, kind of reminding yourself, okay, that's the basic. I probably need to keep it there to learn it if I forgot. So that's what I always do. If I forgot something, I just kind of search it up and just learn it again. People always forget.
Yeah, fair enough. Coming back to the website, the QT, and your photos being all around QT's social media. So essentially what I gather is that you're part of a campaign that essentially lets students know on a week by week basis what are the things that they have to do or they have to keep in mind. So like how did you get involved or how did you apply for this?
So this campaign, Countdown to QT, is, I basically get introduced because I've been working with the project manager for another project, which is kind of the marketing campaign for QT, but towards different countries, where we just filming a video of us using a bit of our own languages and, most of English to introduce QT and the student life here. And after that, the manager go on this project, and then he kind of find out I'm really passionate about all the stuff. So he kind of asked me again, would you want to participate? I'm say So kind of just.
That's really interesting because you not only like on the academic side you have your own, you're doing your electrical engineering bachelor's and you're also tutoring on the academic space, but also on the other hand you're also doing a lot of marketing and
like communications, because this kind of is like, I will say it is affected by my family because both of my parents are engineers, so they kind of like emphasizing me on opinion says that as an engineer you're not only solving your problem, you have to communicate your design or your solution to your customer. So you have to be a good like communicator, I would say, and even a marketer, because like if you're introducing something and people don't get it, that's that's kind of like your problem because you've solved the problem correctly.
Yeah.
That means your technique is well prepared, and that's very good. But on the other hand, you have to explain it well to other people because, well, for most of the time, some of your customers, they don't have engineering background. So you have to let them know what's your project and what's the use of your product and keep them interested.
Right, because like if you've created a solution or created a strategy or a technique that does the job, but if people don't know it does the job, then what's the use? So like the technical side and communication side basically.
Yeah, they are really
important.
Yeah,
right?
very important. It's just like Steve Jobs and his iPhones. It's like really it's really exciting for each year you see when they are having a new product and you feel really attractive to it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of thing I've been feeling like the engineer should do. Like you can't you don't have to have new product every year, but at least when you are introducing your product, like people will be attracted as they are attracted to iPhones because like
the presentation
the talking is really interesting and the product it's good actually, and then the introduction is really good and what they've done. So
no, because year after year, every time the iPhone like Apple comes up with something, like people like globally, like people get really hyped.
Yeah. It's not necessarily to say we will buying a new iPhone every year. We're just being attracted to the forms of their presentation, how they're showcase their project. So it's really interesting. So I feel like if I will be able to do some communication or being part of the marketing project will be a good experience.
Yeah, that's right. Because a lot of science-based degrees also these days have like a communications aspect to it.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
it's really important to have like I'm glad that like more and more courses and more degrees are going towards the understanding that there has to be like a communications aspect to pure sciences or engineering. And it's really nice that you find a balance where you're not only focusing on the technical aspect and not only teaching the technical aspects to other students, which also will enhance your communications, but you're also leaning towards marketing and presentability basically.
Yeah, because during my degree, I also take communication as one of my minors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of, I deliberately to do that, because I kind of felt like, communication, I won't say it's an easy thing to learn. It is not easy to learn.
Yeah.
You kind of you have to kind of push yourself out of the comfort zone to talk to people. And also as well, you need to know how to do research, how to document stuff, and how to organize everything. So I think it's necessary at least for me, it's necessary to take some minor like this. So I have like a system of learning of what different genres and different kind of writing and just different stuff. So.
Yeah, and I think we're coming back to the topic that we started with, which where we spoke about how choosing different courses, the customization really is a positive thing, and that's one example is you choosing communications as you customizing your degree to include communications deliberately because you know that will be a very helpful thing in the future.
It's kind of like develop your soft skills.
Right.
Like if you start learning a little bit, and then when you actually go into places where you need to communicate with people, I'm not saying 100% you will feel more confident than other people, but at least you will have kind of thinking that, hey, I've learned something like that, and now it's here to use this stuff.
Right.
So you kind of I know something and I try to use it. So it's kind of a good beginning.
Yeah, and it also brings me to one of the topics that we discussed in the last podcast, which was about how international students, where they necessarily might not have English as their first language, they are, especially when it comes to soft skills or communications, they are at a disadvantage, especially in a country where English is the primary language. So that is also something that I want to talk about because because Stacy, the student that we spoke to in the last podcast, she spent 2 years in China. And one of the things that we touched upon was, which I think it makes more sense to talk with you, is how a lot of students, they have to either learn English before coming here and prepare intensely, which again is a hard task to learn like a language in a few years or a year even.
Yeah, that's true.
And then going to a country where that language is like the most prominent language.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
Because I've spent 3 years learning Spanish and German and French.
Oh my god.
And I can say 3 words max.
Wow.
So I don't know how people manage that, and I feel like I'm really impressed by it. Especially like if I take your example, coming from a country where English isn't that prominent, and to be able to not only live in a different country and do so well in like a country like Australia, but also to be on a podcast where the medium of language is English. That's just amazing, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Like, I think people at IELTS should just like see these podcasts and be like, yep, that's 9 on 9. So, was it hard for you to learn English in a short period of time? Even though English is involved in the school curriculum, but on a lighter side, right?
Yeah, but I think for me personally, I won't say it's really hard because I'm actually very interested. Because I really like watching movies, so my parents kind of let me know like there were a lot of good movies outside, and then you have to learn different languages and especially English. Because when I was in like primary schools, most of the movies we watch is from either America or England, so basically they're using English. So my parents says if you want to understand them, you got to learn. So I kind of really being encouraged this. So, and I think I use this as kind of way of relaxing because when I was preparing for some tests, it's getting really intense. So you're basically sitting in the classroom from 8 a.m. and until 6 p.m. So it's really stressful, and I kind of using learning English as kind of distressing myself. I would say so. Learning a different languages because that is not as hard as solving some problems continuously with your physics, with your math.
So it was like a supplementary, refreshing activity.
Yeah, for me personally.
Yeah.
So and because I'm interested, so I kind of enjoying focusing myself on learning English. So I kind of listening to English songs, watching movies, TV series, and even entertainment shows. So it's really fun for me to learn actually because at under such a strict schooling system, I have time to because my parents want me to learn English. They kind of allow me to have time to watch TVs and surf on the internet.
Yeah,
I think
because that was acting like it was building up your interest in learning English.
Yeah. Because it's helpful. It's too because people always says your habit is your best teacher.
Right.
And that's apparently true because it makes your life a lot easier. Because if you don't like something and you keep insisting on doing it, you'll be under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
But I would say if you're really interested in it, learning it for you is just having fun, which means that's gonna be take away a lot of pressure. You can just have fun and learn better. So
do you remember any of the movies or TV shows or songs that really got you into English?
Twilight
with Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart.
Yeah, that's the one.
I still remember.
So
how many because I think there were 4, 5 of them that came out.
There are 5 of them.
Yeah.
The last one they actually having 2. So
Is that the Breaking Dawn 1, 2?
Yeah, Breaking Dawn they have 1 and 2. Yeah. So that's really got me, and I can still remember it.
Because when Twilight came out, again because we are the same age, it coincided when I was in my teens essentially.
Yeah.
Twilight was huge.
Yeah.
So I never liked it, but I've watched it.
Yeah. I'm still watching it when I'm free. I'm still watching the movie.
It's very embarrassing, but I saw it 4 months back. It was on Netflix, and it's crazy because I have thousands of films to watch.
Yeah.
And I chose Twilight.
Oh, that's sweet.
I don't know why. But that's really interesting. Yeah, because I really relate to when you say that you got into English or you got into getting into a new language because you want to enjoy the products of their culture, like movies or music. That's something that I really relate to, is because that's why I got into any of the languages that I've gotten into. That's because of the movies or the music. There's this song called Mi Gusta Tu by this, it was a Spanish song, and I really liked it. But I kind of didn't know what it meant.
Yes.
And this is kind of before the entire. Now there's a lot of like Spanish music that's in pop culture, especially with Despacito. That was like But this was like way before any of that happened.
Wow.
And there was just this one or two songs that I would find randomly on the internet, or someone put it as some background to a film.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I enjoyed the songs, but I just thought that I would enjoy them so much more if I could like sing them and understand them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so that's how Spanish started. French started because I had a filmmaking phase.
Wow.
I still love filmmaking, but there was this one phase where I was like, I was just thinking about like really getting into filmmaking and really making all these artsy films. And I was like, I have to watch Korean cinema, I have to watch French cinema.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I don't want subtitles because it's like, it doesn't let me pay attention to what's happening if I'm reading.
Yeah, that's true.
So I was like, no, I'm just going to learn French.
Yeah, that's
And then German is a different story. Again, there's cinema.
Yeah.
But there's also like, I really liked Germany as a German national team for football.
Wow.
I was like, you know what, I want to support them in German.
Yeah.
It's so silly, but I was small. So I really, I'm so glad that I resonate with your experiences, because if it wasn't for these reasons, there's no way I would put in the effort or be motivated to learn a new language.
Yeah, because I didn't realize this before, because I just feel like, because when I was like in primary school and secondary school, you just feel like you're interested by a movie and you just keep learning it, and you didn't even realize that you use this as your interest, and this motivates you all the way.
Yeah.
But now I kind of, when you look back, when you do reflection on yourself, you say, hey, this is kind of my motivation to keep me all the way. And then now I kind of believe that you're learning a language. It's not learning languages. It's not learning the language only, but you're kind of learning the culture.
Right.
Because when you're learning languages, you always read articles about different culture in especially English speaking countries, since I'm learning English. So you didn't feel like that article is really useful. You probably just feel like it's just like a study material for you. But actually, when you actually go in abroad, say if you go to America, go to England, or now I'm here in Australia, you kind of feel like you already know some of their culture.
You're right.
Because you learn it through learning the language.
Yeah, because not only just the language, but also because your approach, or most people's approach to learning a language, is supplemented by films or music. And there's so much of culture that we acquire from, like say, for example, Twilight. Like, if I had no idea of American culture, watching Twilight, it's not the greatest representation of America, but you learn about culture through movies, right?
Yeah, you see what other people doing in other countries, and you feel like it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just keep inspire you by letting you see different things, because some of the culture stuff, it's only I think it's just happening in some certain regions, say for one country or probably some area. So you probably, if you live, because for me I only live in China, and then I came to Australia. I didn't travel abroad a lot, so I kind of getting used to only Chinese culture. So other cultures to me is really new, and I'll be really interested to learn it.
Yeah. I want to talk about Chinese culture, but before we go to that, I also want to talk about how this is another thing that came up in the last podcast, and this is something I am curious about, is that because, so you're from China and I'm from India, we're both from countries with great populations, which means that irrespective of where you go to, there will be a population of our countries, or basically we will find people from our countries.
Yeah, that's true.
At most places abroad.
Yeah.
Which also includes Australia. Australia has a decent Indian population, but it also has a significant Chinese population.
Yeah, that's true.
So I was just thinking that when I came, and Brisbane is compared to other cities, Brisbane is lower on the Indian population side. So when I came here, there weren't a lot of Indian students, but there were a few, and that kind of helped in a way. That helped normalizing the shock. Yeah. If you go to a new place and you see no one who looked like you, it's harder.
Yeah.
But I was just curious that, given that the Chinese population is quite significant in Brisbane. Was it easier to transition to a city like that has like a base population?
I think it makes differences because, as you just mentioned, if you can't see anyone who looks like you in a new country, you feel really lost. You feel like you've been to an island by yourself. You kind of feel like that. Seeing people like from the same country, and if you have chance, you make friends with them, and you kind of hearing about their story, and they're from your country, so you feel a lot easier.
So do you feel more like? Obviously, you don't feel more at home compared to China, but like, do you feel relatively at home here? People are obviously one element of that feeling. Like, like I will feel at home when there is food, people, and places. If that's like the three more main elements that make up the entire feeling of being at home.
Yes, that's true.
And I kind of feel at home sometimes. It's not often that I encounter like Indian people or Indian culture a lot here.
Yeah.
Unless if I like make like a prominent effort to go to an Indian restaurant or go to like a cricket match.
Yeah.
but that's when I feel at home. But other than I don't really feel at home. But for a population that's more than the Indian population in Brisbane, do you feel at universities or on like general wherever you're visiting, do you feel more at home just because the people aspect is there?
Well, I don't really think. I think we will all feel like at home because, like, if you're in some foreign country for a long time, normally you always see local people around you because you're in their country.
Yeah.
But if you suddenly see, like, for me, I suddenly see a bunch of Chinese people, I'll feel it's kind of feel like I'm back to China. You kind of feel like it, but comparing to the feeling at home, it's still different.
Yeah.
Because, like...
definitely.
Yeah,
I mean,
because even if you're here, you're seeing people from your country, but they're a lot not like when you were at home, you're more like relaxing, enjoying your life and spend time with your family. But here, people kind of like fighting for their own lives. They having either study or work or have other goals to make. So even like, we sometimes hang out with my Chinese friends, so we kind of talk about the stuff. They'll say, we will miss home because people definitely miss their home when they're abroad. But it's like it's very normal and everyone does this. So
basically, I was just trying to figure out that maybe we do have it easy, like you and me, or as Indians and Chinese, we do have it easy because we have a fraction of our people wherever we go. So it kind of we do have it on the easier side. But then also I was thinking that maybe when it comes to uni, when you're a new international student here, I was also thinking that the bigger the population, the more difficult it is to branch out and socialize with other people. Like, I'm not saying this applies to everyone. Individually, people are different. So, but I was just thinking that, say for example, if I was from a country which has a low population, then I would not get to the comfort of hanging out with my people in a different country because my people might be very less because I come from a country with a low population.
Yeah.
So I would have to, I wouldn't have much of a choice but to like mix around with other people.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of like Indians always together, and I always see a lot of Chinese together.
Yeah.
And I've always think about if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's a good thing because you're at home.
Yeah.
But then again, the entire point, or you're not really experiencing all of living in a different country if you're always with the same people from your country. Yeah. And that's always, like, I've always tried to figure out the pros and cons of being an Indian because, especially in this situation, because it's like most of us are grouping together.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't know if I'm starting to think that that's not entirely a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. It's not entirely a good thing.
Because then you don't have new perspective, you don't know new people, you don't learn about new cultures. You're just sitting in the comfort of your familiarity.
Yeah, because I was kind of really struggled with this problem because I know like there are a lot of Chinese people out there, so you will probably encounter them and you kind of we're still friends, but like we don't stick around all the time because like you feel like it's different when you are kind of staying with people from the same country or you try to push yourself to talk to local people. Right. So I think now I understand it just as pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. because when you are staying with your own people, you kind of feel like really at home. So you don't really trying to push yourself up for higher goals or better things. But if you kind of really push yourself outside, you will see new cultures, like new experiences. Also, it's also
about getting
cool.
out. It's about like getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, I think that's like a big step, because sometimes, because for me, I'm doing engineering, so there are less Chinese population in this faculty, so it doesn't seem to be a problem for me, because I meet less Chinese students. So I kind of just like feeling it's the same when I was communicating with local students and other international students. But yeah, for other students, maybe they have more Chinese population in their classes, so it's a lot easier for them to get into that comfort zone. So if you get in the zone and you get used to it, so it will feel harder to coming out of that zone. But for me, it's kind of like the same. So
exactly,
I didn't feel
because
like it's a problem.
there are like two options, right? Like when you have like the comfort of people who are from your nation. One option is you succumb to that comfort. You go for the comfort, and you spend time with people that you're familiar with, that you have things to share with. It's very easy. It's like an easy path. But what I've started to feel is that the other path, while it is more difficult, it is more rewarding, because meeting that's one of like the enhancing, enriching experiences of living abroad is meeting other people and talking. And it's hard. Like it's hard to talk to people from different cultures. It's a task. Like it's so much easier and natural to talk to someone from your same country.
Yes.
But I think the other option, which is a bit harder, is actually more rewarding. And I actually thought about this. I started thinking about this 2 months, 3 months back, and the reason is, and I never thought about this before, but this idea has like ever since I've been thinking about this, because my friend, so he's from China, and we're close friends because. Randomly we were assigned to the same lab group, so we were like lab partners, and that reminded me like, it would have been easier if I had like an Indian lab partner at the beginning, but it was so much more rewarding, and it was so much of a better experience because I was paired up with someone from a different. At start it's hard, like communication, understanding. Everyone has a different take, especially when it comes to very specific things. You learn different things from different countries.
Yeah, that's true.
And when you come from a specific country, you have a specific way of doing things. Yeah. And that's going to differ. But that's a challenge. But once you pass that challenge, it's such a. And he's the one who actually spoke to me about the task of like learning English and how it's harder. And he's one of like the most impressive people, because he started learning English 6 months or 8 months before coming to Australia, and it's amazing. I'm like, I could never do this. And one of the things that he told me was that he actually came here with his friends from back home, his like best friends, and he would live with them. But recently he moved out purposefully, just so, because he was like, when I'm with my friends from back home, we don't know to talk in English, so I'm not going to get to practice English. And I was like, that's really brave. I would never, like, I'm like that's such a difficult thing to do, to move out from the friends in Brisbane that you lived with back home. Like your friends from home, to move out and live with someone else just so you can practice English, and that's amazing.
Yeah, that's so brave. Yeah, that's so brave. But I think it's like, well, it's always like you have kind of, if you spend your energy and time trying to pushing yourself out of the comfort zone, you're gonna receive something. Like if you just keep yourself comfortable, you probably receive less. But
exactly,
it's like it is said, like if you want something more, you have to do something more for it. You can't just get something for no reason. You people like achieving something for some reason. They have spent like hard work and energy on it, so they definitely get a reward.
Yeah, it's a cliche, but like they always say, like always venture into the unknown. I think this is UQ's tagline now.
Wow.
But it's true.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to venture into the unknown.
That's true. Like, if you like step into some area that you never know, it's really scary at the beginning, but you just have to keep that in your mind that it's definitely going to be rewarding in the end. And that's probably
if it's not like tangible, if it's not like physically or like it's not rewarding in a very specific way, the experience itself would be rewarding. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if like nothing great comes out of it, at least you experience something different, and that along the way, I think that helps.
Yeah, it's kind of like overcoming yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, because if you're getting used to something, you just feel like it's just like a daily routine. You live with someone you know, and you're doing the stuff you know. But if you kind of like get hands on a new thing, you feel like challenging. You probably have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
But you kind of just like overcoming the fear in your mind that, oh, I don't know what to do. What should I do? But if you kind of just like throw away all this kind of thinking, but just put your hands like just get things started, and you kind of pushed it all the way through, and you'll feel, even if the result is not as good as you expected.
I tried, and I'm happy I tried.
Like you tried your best, and the result doesn't matter that much at the end. I would say, because you'll find that like this experience is, well, I mean, it's special to you because it's only because like among the world, it's only you who did this thing, and the experience is only belongs to you. Even if you're telling it to other people will say, okay, this is your experience, it's great. But like they will never actually feel that feeling. Exactly. Because you did that thing, so the feeling only comes to you. So it's like, it's really like extraordinary.
I also think that it's a great, this entire topic that we were talking about, not going for the easier, more familiar path, but going for the harder, challenging, where there are like challenges because of, different cultures, etc. Yeah. It's actually a very good metaphor or a symbol for the entire international student experience. That, like, think about it, like you're going from a country that is the familiar place to another country, aka the challenging, less familiar place with different cultures. Yeah. So I think this entire small issue is a very good, just like a metaphor for the entire international student experience. Yeah. And it's good that we've all chosen that. And I also feel like, in a sense, like we spoke about how you tutor, but that's less about you. You are obviously teaching other students, but it's also like internally, it's about you learning. Yeah. And I think the same analogy can be used for this podcast. Is that, sure, maybe people are listening and maybe people are learning something, but it's more important. Like on a primary basis, it's mostly me learning internally. It's like me talking to other people and me learning. That's like the main, it's like tutoring, but like. Yeah. Where you're learning, it seems like you're teaching other people, but it's really you learning.
Yeah, it's like a two-way stuff. You're not like saying giving away stuff by yourself, but you're also learning something for other people. You just probably, you didn't realize it at the moment, but you will realize it like afterwards, because that's how I feel. Because like when like sometimes my parents told me like, you're very brave to go to other country to study another course using another language. And at the beginning I thought that's like nothing. It's like what I'm supposed to do. I going abroad and study the course using another language. Isn't that what I should do? I was like feeling so normal. And then now I kind of look back and say, that's because like I feel like I just go through it so naturally, so I didn't feel like it's a big stuff. But now when I'm looking at other international students who come here, like just arrive there by themselves, I was like, wow, that's really brave. Like you didn't feel like it's a big stuff for you, but when you are looking at other people, you'll say, wow, that's kind of like a big achievement. So
sometimes it hits me. It's like if you try to oversimplify it, or if you really like try to like summarize it, it does seem like an achievement. It's not. Yeah. I mean, it's very normal. Like you said, it's normal.
It's normal for yourself to do.
Yeah, for ourselves. But like when someone summarizes it, when someone goes like, "Hey, Mashad, you went to a different country that you've never been to, with a different culture that you've never experienced, and you've spent all this time there, and you've also managed to study." I'm like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Because, that's what I told others, like new students, like when they came here and they said they're very nervous and they have no idea what to do. I just told them, you have already like make a big step because you're leaving your own country and you're preparing yourself to surviving a uni using another language. I said this will be like a very good achievement.
Yeah, because international students, not only do we have to study the thing that everyone has to study, we also have to study it while using another language and another location and another culture.
Yeah, because like you're not dealing with study only, you're dealing with language,
life.
you're dealing with your like culture things, because like people will get culture shocks when they get here, and they're getting confused in why they're doing this like this. So it's really complicated. But when you look back, you say, you didn't feel like it's a big achievement, but like I would say a few years later, when I look back, that's a good decision. I did a lot of stuff to get in the end.
So essentially, overall, I think it's a good thing to always get out of your comfort zone, and especially if you're coming from countries like ours, where we already have a certain amount of population that's already there in whatever city we go to. It's always important to remember to not fall into the comfort of familiarity, but venture into other people, other culture, other experiences.
That's true.
So that's nice. I hope more people, if people are listening, I hope they take this into action, because it really helped. I guess I can say on behalf of both of us that really helped both of us.
I think so. I encourage everyone I met just to just to meet different people and know their stories, because that's what my key takeaway from my
and most of my top 7 friends that I have in this country, none of them are Indian.
See,
it amazes me that like you would think that you will get along with people from your country, but if you're just open-minded enough, and if you give people the chance, people will surprise you, because like amazing people are spread along all countries. So
that's true.
You never know who you can get along with, and it's always it's important to keep an open mind.
That's true. You have to keep the door open so people can come to you. Kind of like if you kind of stick around the same people, you probably. You only know them, but besides them, there will be. I'm not saying they're not good, but you will be seeing a lot of new minds, new experiences just up there, and you just have to be open-minded and accept it.
So I don't want this podcast to be like a podcast about metaphors and analogies and full circles, but the thing that you just said is also a great metaphor for Twilight, because like we are talking about how like you should not stay in the same group, you should go out. And isn't that exactly what Bella did in Twilight? She was in a small town, and then she was like, nah, I'm gonna venture out.
That's kind of similar.
And, this is great.
That's cool to know that.
And then it ended up good for her. So there were, again, in Twilight there were challenges. The guy she likes is a vampire, and she almost died once, I think. So again, like Twilight and international student experience, there are challenges, but get out of your small comfort zone and it'll be amazing.
Kind of. You just have to overcome the challenge that's on the way.
So it's 2019 now. Do you have any New Year resolutions?
New Year resolutions?
Or just like, what are the things that we covered up on the things that you've done in your time here in Brisbane, and we covered up on your experiences coming here and being here. But I want to talk about like, what are the things that are going through your mind about what comes next?
Well, what I want to do is to develop myself as a professional engineer, although it's a long way there.
Right.
But I'm doing my 3rd year, so I'll be phasing on like doing my placement and probably finding graduate positions. So I think it's time for me to having more like maybe going more active on the industry side to meet more industry professionals and to not saying, because I used to don't know how to do networking, so I kind of just hear their stories, and now I think I should turn to a side to kind of communicate my idea to them and to seek for their advices, because they have been through the whole journey and they have been in the industry for so many years, and if you're having the industry experiences, it will help you a lot to shaping your career, I would say. So that's the thing I'm looking forward to do, to meet more industry people and having advice from them.
That's really nice. And also, this is random, but is there a particular TV show, movie that you're watching or recently watched that you really liked?
Recently, let's see, what am I watching recently? I was watching a movie called A Little Favor. Have you heard of it?
I probably know the movie. You know what? I'm going to go home And if I like Google it right now, if I search it right now, and I have a feeling I'm going to see the poster, I'm going to be like, yeah, of course, this movie. Like I think I know the movie. You know what?
You can Google it.
Yeah, I'm just going to Google it.
You just Google it.
What a great use of time on this podcast. Welcome to TBH Beyond Borders, where we Google things about movies.
A little favor, I think. If I remember the name correctly. Oh, no, it's not that.
Are you talking about who's that? Is it a horror movie? Is it a comedy movie?
No, it's like it's Blake Lively.
Oh, Blake Lively. Oh, yeah, the Anna Kendrick, Blake Lively.
Yeah, yes. What is that called?
A Simple Favor.
Oh, sorry, A Simple Favor. Oh my god.
It's kind of the same thing. Little and Simple. They're kind of synonymous.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen it, but I know it's intense. I know a lot of people liked it.
Yeah,
don't spoil it for me.
It's really intense because like you have to know, like you kind of, it makes you really exciting to find out what's in the end. So you just so into it.
Yeah, and the reason I asked because I first of all I have nothing to do tomorrow. Genuinely looking for recommendations. But the second thing is also that it's nice that we're coming back to movies as something that, you know, we start an hour ago we started out with movies getting you to talk to English, and like an entire hour-long conversation in English later, we're back to movies. And I think it's really nice. I really enjoyed. I was very impressed. I'm still very impressed, and I still think you're really cool. It's like, you know, Nicole, more like Nicole. I'm really sorry for this joke. But I'm really impressed. I genuinely feel that what you've done is amazing, and what you're doing is amazing, and you're a really nice person. And you're also inspiring, which is, again, the point of this podcast, is that people I find inspiring, I like talking to them. And I really hope that you get or achieve everything you want in 2019. Obviously, this sounds like a farewell speech, although that we will be seeing each other. And yeah, this podcast was, it was different. Normally I have normally every podcast is in a sequence. Yeah. This podcast was like in circles and like the themes, and it's really, I had fun. This is more candid, I would say. And less planned, but it was more fun. Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much. Is there anything that I'm missing out that you want to talk about, or anything you want to ask me, or anything you want to tell people? You can ask people to follow you on Instagram or anything if you want. Like at the end of the YouTube videos, right? People normally
ask you to subscribe.
They're like, if like people do a video with someone else, they normally go okay, subscribe to this person, you know. So is there anything that you want to tell people?
I just want to say thank you to you for giving this opportunity. And
this is no opportunity. This is
I really kind of appreciate the help, like the support. If people find this broadcasting is helpful, I'm happy because the experience can help people, and I'm glad.
I just hope, like, more than anything, I just hope people consider and take a moment to think about the things that you mentioned, things about venturing into the unknown, things about, you know, always helping out the community, because the community always helps you, so always making sure you do your part and things like that. And I really hope that people take that into consideration and people learn something from that. So thanks so much for being here once again. This was amazing, and thank you everyone who's listening. If you like this, then, you know, sorry, what is that?
Subscribe.
Yes. Subscribe, you know, send it to your friend. Do what you have to do. And I hope everyone has a nice 2019.
Are you gonna make it happen today? Or will you just settle for another delay? Come on, you gotta make it happen now. Come on, you gotta make it happen now. Are you gonna wait and sit on your hands, or will you go and start making out a list of demands? Cause you can make it happen, so choose a bit your passion to move and start attacking, don't lose out on the action. Are you gonna make it happen today, or will you just settle for another delay?